Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts podcast. Joining you as always is your host, Trent Diolton. And yes, we are fresh. We're getting into the back end of the season. We are here to review the round 17 action, and it was a bit of up and down, kind of a seesaw type of round, but that's what we're here to do. We're here to preview it all. If it's your first time listening to the podcast, this type of preview episode, make sure to leave a like and comment on this video, and follow and subscribe, whether you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, follow on the Spotify, Apple podcast. But just quickly what we do, I go over each round and then I rank each club's performances for that round on a tier list. So we start off with the top tier list being elite, then it's contenders, decent, disappointing, and 5 a.m. St Kilda Beach. So without further ado, let's get into the first match of Thursday night between North Melbourne and the Western Bulldogs. Let's go. Thursday night action at Marvel, and it was a sanitary event for the North Melbourne Football Club. So they had all their past players down there, and Dennis Pagan giving a big, long, inspirational speech before the game to the players. Unfortunately, they weren't able to come home with a victory. No one was really expecting them. They were just expecting them to fight, and they weren't horrendous, we'll say. They did go down by 49 points to the Bulldogs and let in a lot too many goals than they would have liked to. 13-7-85 with the Kangaroos to the Western Bulldogs as 20-14, 134. Larky was the star of the show, kicking 5. 4 of them coming in the first quarter on one leg, so he did struggle for the rest of the game on that leg, but all should be good. So just a 1 goal after that. Zerha also kicked 2. Norton is really shining the last few weeks with Darcy back in the side. He kicked 5. Darcy with the 4. Bontempelli, English, Dale, and Liberatore in his 250th kicked 2 as well. As for disposals, McCurchin now, they're realising he's more of a halfbacker, not a wingman, so they've moved him back to the halfback flank, and he had 32, 7 scoring goals, 555 metres gained, so picking up the form where he left off in his debut season last year. Daniel had 25. He made some really silly decisions with the ball. Powell also had 25, 6 clearances and 8 tackles. Leading disposal count was Libbo in his 250th, and he rose to the occasion with 27, going at 82% efficiency, 16 of them contested. We mentioned the 2 goals, 6 clearances, and 11 score involvements. Closely followed by Richards, who had 26 with 9 clearances and 2 goal assists. Bontempelli had 25, going at 84% efficiency, 2 goals and 10 tackles, along with 2 goal assists. And Kennedy also had 25, going at 84% efficiency, 4 goal assists, and 7 score involvements. It wasn't really much you could talk about this game. They put in a decent effort in the first half. It was a really poor first half from the Western Bulldogs side of things. North Melbourne looked like they were in it. Fast start with the Bulldogs, but then the Kangaroos worked themselves in the game with Larkin kicking 4 in that first quarter. But when it hit the second half, the Bulldogs pretty much were just like, all right, we're done stuffing around now. And put the foot to the throat like they do against the bottom sides when they play them at Marvel. So the Dogs, for me, they're not elite, but they can go in contenders. And the Kangaroos can go in, for me, I'll give them decent, because they weren't horrendous, but it just wasn't a great game at all. Now, Friday night, the biggest rivalry in AFL, it was Carlton v Collingwood at the MCG. A packed-out MCG, and Collingwood showed why they had the number 1 seed team in the comp this year. Really, really spelting their arch rivals, Carlton. 8-11-59, defeated by 17-13, 115 to end with a 56-point margin. For the goal kickers for the Blues, Zach Williams obviously made his name now as a forward, not a defender. He kicked 3, while Motlop kicked 2. Elliott and McStay shined for the Pies, kicking 4 each. First time in his career that Elliott has surpassed 40 goals in a season, so he's had a really good year. All-Australian jacket possibly on the way for him as a small forward. We'll wait and see with that one. Myercheck and Membry also kicked 2. Chera had 28 with 6 clearances, and Cripps had 25 with 9 clearances. Nick Dacos was, again, superb. 36 disposals, a goal, 7 clearances, 13 score goal, and 615 metres gain. His brother Josh then had 27, and Mitchell back into the side was really good at ground level and giving off, mainly working off by hand, getting the hard ball and giving it out to his runners like Nick Dacos. He had 26 with 9 score involvements. The Blues are in real trouble though. You could see the frustration. I can't recall if it was 3/4 time or full time. I thought it was full time, but I think I've heard somewhere else that it was actually 3/4 time when Voss has pulled Cripps and Wiedering away from the main group. And in his words, he said this effort is, excuse my language, but fucking deplorable. And it's not acceptable. So he's fuming. That they are in real strife. They don't know what. I don't know what else to say with them. They've got to cut some players. TDK is all but gone to St Kilda. And it's interesting to see when they play Pitnet and when they play Pitnet and De Koning in the same team. De Koning obviously doesn't have the same influence because he has to play as forward because Pitnet can't play as a forward. De Koning's okay, but he's not a great forward, but at least he can somewhat compete and crash packs. But he just doesn't have the same impact if we go over to that game now. And Darcy Cameron was huge in that one. See, De Koning only... So he had 11 disposals, 12 hitouts. And let's see, ruck contest. He had 31 ruck contests. So it's not terrible, but we'll compare it. So he had 31 ruck contests. Pitnet had 64. More than double the ruck contest, where you'd like to see De Koning more around the ball than that. So that is quite disappointing for that case. But the Blues are in real trouble. Another thing I'd like to touch on is the influence of Pat Lipinski for Collingwood. Pat Lipinski, if you go by champion data, is the best user of the ball going inside 50, and it's not even close. It's by a country mile. He didn't have big numbers, but when he had the ball in hand, he didn't waste a possession. So let's have a look what he had. So he had 17 disposals in the end, 3 goal assists, 10 score involvements. So when he gets it, he doesn't waste it. He can just he knows exactly where to put it for the forward to lead into, and he puts it into space and allows them a full run at the ball and can just pick out. He sees things that most people don't, and then he just executes it. So the influence Pat Lipinski cannot go underrated, playing as that half forward or high half forward wing role. Often hits the scoreboard himself as well, but uses the ball beautifully inside 450. So he's been a big pickup, great pickup for the Pies last year. Continues his form this year, arguably probably having a better season than last year. Rowan Steele, his debut for the Pies. I thought he was solid off a wing. 19 disposals he had. He's done it the hard way. Obviously played his juniors at Frankston YCW. No talent coach pathway league games at all. Then went to VFL, played for Casey Demons. Then went to the Waffle at the start of this year, then was picked up for the mid-season draft. So he's done it the hard way. 23 years of age, I want to say. We just go back here. I want to say he's 23. Yeah, so 23 years of age. He didn't look like he was lost at all out there. Obviously, that's the good thing about the mid-season draft. When you're bringing in players, you're bringing in the mature age. So they're more likely, if the reason is you're bringing them in because they're ready to go. So he looked like he was pretty safe and looked pretty comfortable out there. So I was impressed with his performance. As for the rankings, the Pies, they go in elite, and the Blues have to go in disappointed. There's no other spot you can really put them. It was a doubleheader on Friday night between West Coast and the Giants down there at Optus Stadium. The Giants absolutely thumped them by a masterclass by Finn Callahan, who we'll talk about in a second. Him and Tom Green had the ball on a string and just dominated from the midfield. But 8-4-52, the Eagles were defeated by GWS Giants 16-15, 111, 59 points. Shanahan in just his second game was good with 2 goals. He's showing a bit of signs there. Without Waterman down there, obviously. Toby Green kicked 3. Darcy Jones was huge with 2. Halloran, another one who was big with 2. Cadman kicked 2. And Kelly also kicked 2. Disposals-wise, Duggan for the Eagles led the way with 28, 14 rebound 50s, and 733 metres gained. And an interesting night for Harley Reid, but he had 24, 7 clearances and 7 tackles, so starting to find a bit more pill and playing a bit more inside, which is good to see in his development in his game. But we did mention Callahan, the masterclass. He had 37 disposals, 1 goal, 6 clearances, 8 inside 50s, 9 score involvements at 854 metres gained. Geez, the Saints have missed out on a player here. That's exactly the type of player St Kilda would love to have. Someone with a bit of dash, a bit of X factor for that midfield. And he's well built too. Can play inside, can play outside. But he's worth every cent that he was offered by the Saints and by the Giants in the end, because I'm not going to lie, I didn't think he'd hit that. What Saints, I know they were just trying to get a big fish, and obviously that's where the part of the world he's from. He's from the Bayside area. And I get they were just trying to get a big fish. But I was like, really? what was it, 1.3 or whatever it was, 1.2. He has, I can see the potential, but he hasn't, I can see there's somewhat of potential there, but he hasn't done that yet. But then this season, you can see why the hype was around him. And I know Tom Green was talking about it in the green room as well, how he's had a great preseason. And it's really shown, other than that hiccup he had with an injury, he's had an excellent season. As I mentioned, Tom Green also was good with 35, 9 clearances and 7 scorers. Lockie Ash continues his form with 29, 8 intercepts. Josh Kelly popped up for 27 and 2 goals, as did O'Halloran, 27 and 2 goals. But Harley Reid did have a rough night, as I mentioned. But he did battle through to have a decent game. So obviously, the first one was Toby Green giving him the high fend off. And then after giving it, just gave him a little thump to the chest to let him know, hey, you're not you're still young, mate. You got to build your way into the competition. And I'm going to let you know you're here. I'm not the only one who can play those tactics. I actually, as dirty as some of them might think it is, I actually didn't mind it from Toby Green. Just kind of put him back in his place, saying, hey, I know you like to push and bash your way through, but just take a step back, mate. You're not the big boy yet, and just kind of put him in his place. And then Tom Green, sorry, so drink. And then we saw on a replay where in a contest, Harley Reid gave a little swinging to the gut of Tom Green. They were kind of going at it in a head-to-head battle all night. And then later, Harley Reid was grabbing onto Green, behind the at a stoppage. Then Green just turned around and gave him one to the gut and he fell down. So he had a rough night, but did battle hard throughout the night. But the Giants, they got to go in elite. I thought that was really good, especially over in Perth. The West Coast Eagles can go in 5 a.m. St Kilda Beach. Now we move over to our Saturday games, and we start off with the Essendon v Gold Coast, and this scorecard doesn't read as well as the Bombers really played. They really let themselves down in the last quarter, but the first 3 quarters were really good. It was the Gold Coast Suns. They get the job done by 41 points, 11-8, 74, defeated by 18-7, 115. Caddy kicked 3, Archer May also kicked 3, so there's 2 possible young stars for their key forward line to really look forward to for the future building. Ben King kicked 4, Ethan Reid kicked 3, Humphrey and Anderson kicked 2. Merritt, it's amazing what happens when you play Merritt in the midfield. Hey, not at half back, not on a wing, not at half forward. You put him in the source where the ball is, and he makes stuff happen. He had 40, 12 clearances, 8 inside 50s and 9 score runs. Durham in his return back was good. 27, 18 contested, 12 clearances and 7 score runs. Joel Jeffrey's really come on this year, finding himself back off that half back line. He had 32, going 84% efficiency. Kicked a goal, 10 marks, 8 intercepts, 8 rebound 50s, 7 inside 50s, and 740 metres gained. Anderson, again, is so good. Had 30, 2 goals, 7 clearances, and 581 metres gained. John Noble had 29, and Miller had 25, a goal, and 9 scoring bombers. But Noah Anderson is fast becoming one of the top midfielders in the comp. I think it's time we start giving him his flowers. We've seen in the past year or two he does poll well in the Brownlow, but all the talk was he was pick 2, Rowell was pick 1. But I think it's time to start recognising Anderson as one of the top midfielders in the competition. He consistently gets it done. He plays inside, he plays outside. He gets clearances, he gets it on the outside, and then he runs and carries, constantly gets plenty of metres gained and hits the scoreboard. So I think it's time we start recognising Noah Anderson as one of the premium midfielders in the competition. If we have a look, down here, the Bombers kids, yeah, they go all right. So we pull up some of their stats, especially in that forward line and somewhere they can build it. I know Connor, he'll be watching this. He put in a message in the chat as I was calling. I think we've just found our forward line for the next 10 years. Kako, May, Caddy. So Caddy had kicked 3 goals, 1 from 12 disposals and took 5 marks. Archer May kicked 3 goals from 8 disposals and also had 3 hit-outs, but he kicked 3 in a 5-minute period, which was absolutely huge. We have a look at Isaac Kako had his career-high disposals, a goal, 17 disposals, 5 tackles, and 7 score involvements. The really good signs there for Kako. But yeah, it's just, I think the kids will just go, they'll go all right. There's something building there at the Bombers. I know it's going to be a slow burn, but I think they'll go all right. Yeah, we mentioned Merritt, the midfielder. Matt Rowell. Well, first what I want to talk about is Matt Rowell. He was sat on by Will Settlefield for most of the day. Will Setterfield did finish with 22 disposals, 8 tackles, and 8 tackles. But if Matt Rowell's not getting it done with the ball, he's getting it done by tackling you. He laid 17 tackles. This guy is an absolute animal. I don't care how much grass he eats if he can pull off performances like this. Let's have a look. Let's go through the quarter. So first quarter, 5 tackles. Second quarter, 9 tackles. Third quarter, just the 1. In the last quarter, 2. But it's that second quarter where he laid 9. 17 tackles, obviously 20 is the record by Tom Liberatore. Tom Liberatore, I believe it was. Or, no, Rory Laird, I think it is actually. It was Libba before that. But that's enormous. But another thing I love it. Jeez, Matty Rowell stood on business post-game in the interview. He came in contact after some debate about him with contact with umpires and using it as a tactic to get away from his midfielders. It happened again. Then asked post-game, had he changed anything? And he said, no, didn't change everything. I played exactly the same, went out and played the same. And then he said, did Dimmer talk to you? Is there any plans of doing? He goes, no, I'll just keep playing the way I am. Matt Rowell stood on business. I love it. It could come back to haunt him, but I just love it. It was kind of like a big fuck you to the AFL going, hey, I'm not harming anyone at the moment. I'm trying to use it to the best of my ability. You can come in and try and find me, but you've come in and done it mid-season. Not even mid-season, the back end of the season. Why are you changing rules at the back end of the season? I've done it all year so far, and you want to come in and change it now? That's not happening on my watch. That is a big alpha move by Matty Rowell, and I absolutely love it. As for the rankings, going to go to the Gold Coast Suns. I'm going to I'll chuck them in contenders and the Bombers in decent. Now, the next game that happened on the Saturday was Geelong v Richmond, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about this game because it's 72 points margin, and we knew what was going to happen. 18-16, 124 to 7-10, 52. Bailey Smith was laid out the game, but Holmes stood up in his absence, 36, a goal and 6 clearances. Jeremy Cameron had an almost day, 4 goals, 5. But George Stevens really shined on debut. 21 disposals, going at 86% efficiency, a goal, 8 clearances, 2 goal assists, and 14 score involvement. That's a huge debut for George Stevens, and I imagine he'll most likely keep his spot in the side. But the sad part was Sam Lalor going down with another hamstring on return. They said he was ready, but we knew he came in to the draft year with the hamstring awareness problems. So did they possibly rush him too early? But by all means, it looks like they have, and you can't be rushing kids like this who has the potential. I was going to say going to be a star, but it has all the capabilities to be a star of this competition. They just need to take precautions, and that could possibly be his last game of the season. That's not what we wanted to see. So it's unfortunate size to see, but Richmond, 5 p.m. St Kilda Beach, and Geelong go straight to Elite. Now, Saturday night was also a doubleheader. We'll start off with Brisbane and Port Adelaide at the Gabba, and it was the Lions by 28 points, 18-12, 120, defeated 14-8, 92. Zach Bailey was huge in a best-on-ground performance. He kicked 5 to go along with 26 disposals. That's it. 26 and 5. That's enormous by Zach Bailey. He just has that type of ability to pull off games like that. Cameron also kicked 3. As for the Port Adelaide, Georgiades continues his bags of form. He kicked another 4. Really liking the development of Georgiades. Lukosius, and I believe in his return game, or maybe his second game, kicked 3. Rioli kicked 3, and Pau Pepper kicked 2. But Pau Pepper did go down with an injury, and they expect it's going to be an ACL on the opposite leg that he did last year. So that's really sad times for him there. Port, as I mentioned, they were on the back foot because Vicentini also went down with an ankle, and they're saying that could be a few months, so that not weeks, so that could be his season done as well. And Salvarado Galia hamstring would be a 3 to 5 weeker, so that's another one down there. So disappointing for them. McCluggage was also good, 29, a goal, 7 clearances. Rosie continued with 31 and 680 metres gain, and Butters battled hard with 31 and 6 clearances as well. But the Brisbane Lions just flexed their muscle in the end, really took control of the game. So I'm going to put them in the elite category, and I'm going to put Port I'm going to put Port in contenders because it wasn't a terrible performance. Now, this was a very, very boring game in my opinion. It was just a typical Ross Lyon type of game when you come up against him and a Ross Lyon coach team. Kick mark, doesn't let you get the ball, keeps you to low scoring. Although the Hawks did get to 94, there is no reason that they can be like, geez, we played really well after that performance. Like, oh, you bank a win. Don't get me wrong, you bank a win, but it wasn't a performance where you go, wow, look at the Hawks. Do you know what I mean? Like, as harsh as that sounds, but at the same time, I think that's just what it's like. Nothing against Hawthorn. I think that's just what it's like coming up against a Ross Lyon coach team. He stoops you to their level. But when you get the win, you take the 4 points and you bank them by all means. But it was the Hawks by 20 points, 10-14-74, defeated by 14-10-94. Really liking the look of Max Hall. He kicked 3, but he also had 27 disposals, 5 clearances, and 587 metres gained. He's reasonably small in stature, but he runs hard. He tackles hard as well. Just goes really hard at it, and I'm really liking the way he's playing. The last few weeks, he's been really good for them, getting high disposals, which is good to see. Higgins kicked 2. As for the Hawks, Gunston kicked 3, Chol kicked 2. I should also mention with Jeremy Cameron, congrats to Jeremy Cameron, 700 career goals. So congrats to Jeremy Cameron on 700 career goals as well as we go back to here. That's not something to dwell over. 700 goals is huge, especially in this day of age, of the way the forwards play and are delivered to the ball. It's not focused on solely one player. Chol kicked 2 and Watson also kicked 2. Wanganeen Malira, again, had the ball in a string, 43 disposals, 8 rebound 50s, 8 inside 50s, 11 score enrollments, and 1,010 metres gained, just upping his value. Winhager, in not a tagging role, but was just able to run around and gather the footy. He had 27 a goal, and mentioned Max Hall. And McRae also had 26 a goal and 10 tackles. Steele, 26 and 15 tackles. But leading the way for the Hawks was battle against his old team, 23 disposals, 91% efficiency, 7 marks, and 9 attempts. I also like the look of the Viking, Alex Taru. Took a really, really strong mark, but then missed his first career goal. But it's just something always happens when he flies at the ball. Hopefully, I know David King said it, so I'm not going to claim it, but he could come like, he would like to see him come like that Jeremy Howe type of role. Instead of flying and spoiling, more going for intercept marks and become an intercept mark domination king type of role. But he had 13 disposals, 4 marks, and 7 intercepts. I'm really liking the look of the Viking, Alex Taru. Lloyd Meek was also dominant in the ruck with 20 disposals and 59 hitouts compared to Rowell Marshall's 29 hitouts. It'll be interesting to see if Rowell Marshall hangs around with the Saints once TDK, and I'm saying it, once TDK comes over. As for the rankings, I'm just going to put them both in decent. It was nothing amazing. Yes, I did. My apologies. I swiped down too far and thought I didn't do notes for the next game. But then we move over to the Sunday games, and it was Sydney v Freo, and it was actually a decent game. It was a really tight ending, but it was the Swans who keep their season alive with an 11-point victory. Goal kickers, McLean 3, Amadi 2, Lloyd 2, and Jordan 2. As for the Dockers, Tracy and Jackson kicked 2 each. Disposals-wise, Mills continues his form of halfback, 26 disposals, 92% efficiency, and 10 rebound 50s. Gordon had 25, a goal, 8 tackles, and 2 goal assists. Warner had 24 and a goal. As for the Dockers, O'Driscoll had 26 and 24. Now, it was really interesting to see, obviously with Sean Darcy back, Luke Jackson needs to be playing more ruck, so it's going to be interesting to see if he does. I believe he will hang around, but he only went to 32 ruck contests. I guess it's not terrible, but what did Darcy go to? 61, and that's purely because Jackson has the capabilities of playing a bit as a forward, bit as an on-baller, when Darcy's just purely a ruckman. So they've still got problems here. I think sometimes it'll work and then just sometimes it wouldn't, but Brodie Grundy tore and shred to them. He had 33 hitouts, 20 disposals, and a goal. But it'll be interesting to see. I think John Longmuir's role has to come into question. Like, this list is so good, and it's just consistently downplaying. I've said this for a while, and I've been around the household. I've said it, and I've been kind of like, nah, can't be. But he has to be getting something a bit more out of this. They don't play with dare off that half back line. They've got Jordan Clark and Luke Ryan down there, beautiful users of the ball. How about a little bit more dare with the ball? I just think they've got the key backs down there. Obviously, Alex Pearce leading the way down there. And the key forwards up there, Josh Tracy. Jai Mist needs to pull his finger out. Paddy Voss looks good. And they got Frederick, Bolton, Swikowski, Banfield, who can play anywhere. Then through the middle, Brayshaw, Sarong, Young when he's back. O'Driscoll's really building. Matt Johnson. They've got everything at their disposal and they're just not delivering, and it's really disappointing. But I'm going to put the Dockers in decent and I'm going to put the Swans in contenders because they might be making a charge. Like, they sit 10th now. Oh, they're a couple games away. My apologies. But they do keep the season alive. But yeah, now that I look at it, probably not. That was a bit. But any win now counts. They could be a team that just ruins teams. Like the teams that are on 40 points now, there is currently 4 teams on 40 points. So the Giants, the Dockers, Gold Coast, and the Bulldogs. They've already got the Dockers. Can they get one of those other ones and ruin their season? Be interesting to see. But I put them in decent, and I put the Swans in contenders. Now, the last game of the round was Adelaide v Melbourne at Adelaide Oval, and Melbourne can hold their head up high. They definitely weren't terrible, and Posse Pickett's definitely showing his value to the team after signing that big contract. But it was the Crows, 13-12-90, defeating Melbourne, 11-11-77. Rankin played purely more as a forward and was enormous, kicking 5 goals. He was really good, showing that maybe when he's a bit out of form, I wouldn't say out of form, but wasn't impacting as much as the Crows would have liked when they started playing him as a full-time mid. Chuck him forward for a game, and he's kicked 5, so he picked up. Loved the keezer. Kicked another 2. Fogarty, Walker also kicked 2. Malcolm just keeps kicking bags. He's so underrated. The way he just battles and battles and battles. Virtually playing as the number 1 forward now. Well, Van Rooyen was in there. But he's playing as the number 1 key forward out of the square now, Malcolm. He kicked 4. Pickett kicked 2. Van Rooyen also kicked 2. Disposals-wise, Peatling had 25, 6 clearances. Dawson had 25, 7 tackles. And Keys had 24, 2 goals and 11 score runs. As for disposals for the Demons, Viney had 30 and 9 tackles. Bowie had 26 and Langdon had 25. But it was just another win that the Crows needed to get done. By all means, they didn't make it easy for themselves, just the 13 points. But a win's a win as they bank it. So but the only worrying thing is Josh O'Shelley. I thought he was starting to find some really good form, and he's gone down with what could be a serious knee injury. They haven't confirmed. They're not quite sure what it is. They think that they've escaped an ACL, but they can't quite confirm that as of yet. So that is quite unfortunate, but we'll wait to see what the scans reveal there after that. As for I'm going to put them in contenders, and I'm going to put the Melbourne in decent. They only went down by 13 points in a home game. Right, there are my rankings for the round 17 performances for each team. Before we come back and quickly have a refresher and how I ranked them, let's go have a look at the ladder. So we have a look at the ladder. Top 8 as it sits. We got the Pies comfortably on top of the ladder by 48. 2.5 games on top of the Brisbane Lions in second. Then he's got the Crows in third on 44. Geelong and Hawthorn both on 44 in fourth and fifth. Then the teams on 40 goes as follows. The Bulldogs in sixth. The Suns in seventh. The Giants in eighth. And the Dockers in ninth. And the Gold Coast Suns have that one game up their sleeve as well against Essendon. That was postponed. Fremantle ninth, as I mentioned. And then on 28 it follows Swans and the Power. 24 points, Carlton 12th, Essendon 13th. 20 points in 14th is Melbourne, 15th, St Kilda. 18 points in 16th is North Melbourne. Richmond on 17 points, 12 points in 17th. And West Coast Eagles just with the 4 points in 18th. So you have it. Pies 2.5 games clear on the ladder. Hopefully they can hold it. I just get a bit nervous as we get closer to finals. Are they playing their chips too much? I think it's time to start resting players possibly. We'll have to wait and see with that one. But let's go back and have a look quickly before I wrap up how I ranked each team. Let's go. So round 17 rankings as follows. In the elite category, it was Collingwood, GWS, Geelong, Brisbane. Contenders, I've gone with the Bulldogs, Suns, Port Adelaide, the Swans, and the Crows. Decent, I've gone with the Kangaroos, Hawks, Bombers, Saints, Dockers, Demons. Disappointing, I've gone with Carlton and 5am St Kilda Beach. I've gone with the Eagles and the Tigers. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you, guys. We'll start it again. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you, guys. Oh, wait, no. Start it again. Why did I put my hood on? Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you, guys, for listening to this episode. If you're watching this on YouTube and you enjoyed this, make sure to leave a like and comment on this video. Hit that subscribe button. Turn the notification bell on so you don't miss an upload. If you're listening to this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a like on this video. Hit that follow button. Turn the notification bell on so you're notified whenever we upload. And like always, guys, most importantly, please leave a 5-star rating and share it off to a mate who you think might enjoy it so we can keep pushing this show out there. But like I said, thank you guys for listening. Until next time, I'll see you guys then.